Hey dude, or maybe dudette. Today we're talking about what love is and what infatuation is, and I could give you the perfect Erich Fromm style answer and explain that love is a life attitude, and that's not only about romantic relationships. But right now, you're not interested in philosophy, you're interested in a girl who's tangled up in your emotions like a big messy knot. So let's untangle it through the lens of romance and relationships. First off, I want to emphasize right away, love for a person and infatuation with a person are not always easy to distinguish clearly. Love is a complex relationship that includes conscious choice, attachment, understanding, and, depending on the situation, even infatuation. This is especially noticeable in long-term relationships. At different times, we feel different things for our partner. Like today, you're both tired as hell after work or school, and your love expresses itself as care, shared conversations, mutual support. Then tomorrow, maybe you go ice skating together for the first time, and suddenly your love feels like an infatuation again, even a little childlike. So bottom line, love is a multifaceted phenomenon. Acts of love can include suffocating hugs or giving the other person space. At the same time, infatuation is also multifaceted, but linear. So let's start with that. We'll break down infatuation first and, along the way, point out how it differs from love. What does the most authoritative source say about infatuation? It's a strong, positively colored emotion, or a complex of emotions, directed at another person. Then comes a whole pile of unpleasant and negative stuff people say about it. But since I'm a positive kind of guy, I just came up with my own definition. Infatuation is, first and foremost, a state. It's not a conscious choice like friendship or love. It's a state of being. And of course, it's directed toward a specific person.
What's funny is that people often project their infatuation onto someone's looks, like a type or secondary sexual characteristics. But actually, it's more complex than that. The object of infatuation can also be how a girl treats you, her openness, gentleness, even honesty. This is especially common in something the 21st century gave us: long-distance relationships. There, you don't even really see her appearance. You just imagine it, consciously or not. And infatuation forms around the traits you notice. Her kindness, how she treats you, how much attention she gives you. Because infatuation is a state, it means you don't control it. It controls you. For example, if this is your first time being infatuated, it can completely flood your life and push everything else out. In conversations with friends, you talk only about her. At night, you fantasize about how to approach her. Even songs start to sound different. That's why some psychologists call infatuation a neurosis. And in some ways, it really is. But luckily, I'm not a psychologist. So I'm going to tell you instead, infatuation is normal. Sometimes we hate on ourselves for being infatuated. Why? Well, because we think it's something shameful, like we're being unfair to someone else. Or we think it's ruining our own plans. Like say you're just hanging out with a female friend, and that you gradually start catching somewhat romantic feelings for her. Why do we feel ashamed about infatuation? Because it breaks our own expectations. And sometimes, it even threatens our existing relationships with another girl. But dude, infatuation is a natural state. It's not controlled by your rational self. It's your neurochemistry doing its thing. So don't blame yourself for it. And definitely don't beat yourself up just because you're a so-so guy who fell for a f***ing amazing girl. Once you're infatuated, keeping things purely platonic becomes practically impossible. Sure, technically you can try to hide your feelings and maintain the status quo, but there are two problems with that. First, that's like having a boner and claiming you're not into sex. Your body language, eye contact, energy, they'll all betray you. You'll send mixed signals. Your words will say, "We're just friends," but your body will scream, "I want more." That's terrible communication. Second, while you're hiding your desires, you're hurting yourself. Sure, your rational brain might try to suppress your emotions or convince yourself to wait it out, but all you're really doing is adding another token of shame and regret to your collection of romantic experiences, which will shape your beliefs in the future. So here's my advice. Don't overthink it. Infatuation is a normal part of life. Relationships are dynamic. Your goal isn't to build a perfect, static image of love, but to learn how to live in the real, ever-changing world. But back to the explanation.
how does infatuation usually express itself? For most people, it's the urge to touch, to kiss, to get under someone's clothes. It's all tied to libido, but in practice, it can also show up platonically, like craving deep emotional connection. Because we don't just want sex or touch, we want to be seen, understood, found. That's why people sometimes fall for their therapists, or for the girl who gave them 30 minutes more attention than anyone else ever did. So is that good or bad? Let's not worry about that now, because what I'm getting at is this. Wanting another person, mentally and physically, is completely natural. I felt both love and infatuation, and sometimes both at once. So now that we've broken down infatuation, we can finally compare it to love. So what's the main difference between love and infatuation? Infatuation is linear, and it's only directed at connecting with the object of your feelings. Sure, the forms it takes vary, gifts, flowers, cute notes, sweet words, but all of it is about getting closer. Infatuation can't take a step back. A person feeling only infatuation doesn't know how to recognize the moments when the girl, for example, just wants to be sad by herself, hold on to her anger at the world, or even at you, when the best thing you can do is leave her alone and come back later. Love, on the other hand, means seeing the girl as a subject, whereas infatuation sees her as an object. Love includes the understanding that this girl is a separate being, with a separate mind, her own rhythms, her own internal gravity pulling her different directions. You realize that no matter how much you know her or how often you talk, you only ever see a part of her. You know only what you know. And yeah, on one hand, that sucks. It's sad to realize you only witness a fragment of someone's life, understand only a slice of their inside jokes and stories. But on the other hand, that's beautiful as hell. Relationships are the closest form of interaction we have, where you get to see a person through 100 little windows. Conversation, shared routines, prepping for exams, sex, even their scent. Infatuation, meanwhile, doesn't try to understand the other person. It just seeks contact for contact's sake. As I said before, infatuation treats the girl like an object. And the essence of that relationship is that you can see this in action, like in those pangs of loneliness or sadness when the girl chooses her hobbies, her schoolwork, or her friends instead of spending time with you. To someone who's just infatuated, that choice feels like a personal attack, a loss in the competition for her free time. But a person who loves her, yeah, he might feel a little sad, but he gets it. Now, to explain this properly, we'll need to step outside the bounds of just romantic relationships for a second. Because love isn't just how you treat another person, it's also about how you treat yourself. To truly love someone and not lose yourself in the process, you have to recognize your own worth. Sometimes a relationship can help you grow that self-worth, but other times it can become emotional masochism, where your bond is held together not by active, mutual love, but by hope. Hope that one day your partner will change. And that brings us to another core difference between love and infatuation, and another key part of the definition of real love. Love is a relationship with a real person, existing in the present, not with some ideal version of them you hope they'll become someday. There's a great video from a psychologist who talks about this in the context of turning 30. But from my own experience, I'll tell you this. If you only love a portion of someone, like you're into her emotional side but you tolerate her anxiety or hope to fix it, then that's not really love. That's just hope, mixed with nostalgia from the early days of the relationship. It's you living not in the present but in some abstract future. That mindset says, if I just wait a little longer, we'll finally be happy. And if you've ever been in that kind of relationship, or are in one now, I seriously suggest you stop and ask yourself, what do you really want? And what are you actually getting from this person? Not what you hope to get someday. Now it's time for a beautiful paradox. But before we get to that, guys, I'm working hard to make sure these videos are helpful, so drop a comment. Let me know what kind of content you like. Are you here for relationship advice? Self-development, a mix of both, something else? Let me know. I appreciate it. Now, the paradox. Love is a whole relationship with a whole person, but it doesn't consume your entire life. At the same time, infatuation is a relationship with only a part of someone, but it can consume your entire being. Weird, right? Infatuation starts pushing out your own magnets. Your friends, hobbies, job, studies. It's a tidal wave. And if you don't keep it in check, it'll make your life unstable. Suddenly, your mood is no longer driven by your actions, but by how much attention you're getting from her. Or worse, by the absence of it. Oh, and we missed a chunk of the video. Let me just re-record that part. Just kidding. We're wrapping it up. So, what's the ultimate takeaway? Why should we learn to love, read books, and not chase only after infatuation? Because it's through love that you learn to live, not just with wild, uncontrollable emotions, and not just with cold, calculating logic either, but with a fusion of both. You start to truly understand people. You understand her. You find something stable, something real, something that's yours. Thanks guys and girls for watching this video. Maybe you dropped a like, maybe you left a comment, maybe not. Either way, I appreciate your time.